Greetings and welcome back to another British Family Reacts video. And in today's video, your British family are going to be reacting to
how America makes Britain look like a tiny village. And this is another brilliant one from Lawrence Brown in Lost in the Pond. What we would just want to do is we want to give a shout out to Lawrence for his Blogosphere nomination, and for everybody that does like Lawrence Brown and does support him, please head over to Blogosphere. I'll link it down in the comments.
This video was recommended to us by a legend by the name of John Helwig. John, if you are watching, you are an absolute legend. John was on our Patreon Zoom the other day, which is going down really, really well. And
I'm enjoying it. I think you all are as well.
We're getting a great, fantastic community, making friends. If you are interested, check out the link in the pin comments and see your name appear here. Subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff. Now let's get on with the video.
And 874 square miles is larger than not just London, but half of the English counties. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to size. They say that size doesn't matter, but have they looked at a map recently? Because it does matter when you move from Britain to the United States of America. You see, somebody once said that the biggest difference between Britain and America is that Americans think that 100 years is a long time and that the British think that 100 miles is a long way. And I definitely used to think like this. For instance, I used to think that travelling from my hometown of Grimsby to the city of Manchester was a long way, even though it was only 100 miles. But
I think in fairness, though, the roads over here with like A roads, they're smaller roads.
Yeah, they're a lot more painful to drive on, aren't they? Everything seems to take a long time.
To give you an example, my parents live just shy of 60 miles away, and it takes an hour and 45 minutes to get there.
After moving to the United States, where long-distance commutes and cross-country road trips are not that unusual, I soon realised that Americans viewed 100 miles as no biggie. And as somebody who now fairly frequently does the commute from Chicago to Indianapolis, I have fallen in line with my American comrades. But just in case you don't believe me, or in case you're one of those British people that I often hear about, that comes to the United States and expects to see New York City, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and the Grand Canyon all in one weekend, allow me to present to you some maps. Some maps that highlight the scale of the United States in all its glory. Let's take a look. Firstly, let's take a look at the United States as a whole. If we include land and water, which we will be doing throughout this video, the United States has a total area of about 3.8 million square miles. Ooh. In that respect, it could contain 40, not just Britons, but UKs.
40.
And for clarification, the UK is Britain plus Northern Ireland. The biggest country within the United Kingdom is my home country of England. And you've almost certainly heard that the United States has an entire region named after it. Let's have a look at how they compare. As the United States goes, New England is a relatively small area of land comprising 6 states: Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And despite the fact that 5 of those states feature in a list of the 7 smallest, the New England states combined are almost 22,000 square miles bigger than England. In fact, you could throw in Wales and Northern Ireland and New England would still come out on top. But even when you add in Scotland, there are certain other states that are bigger than the entire United Kingdom.
Got to be Texas, isn't it? Texas definitely in there.
Oh yeah, it just seems mad, doesn't it, that one state is so much bigger than
California will be another one. Yeah, California's huge.
Now, long ago I made a video on the 11 states that are larger than the UK. But this video was mostly crap, and the chief complaint about it was that I didn't show any maps, so you just had to imagine it. Well, to show that I've grown as a YouTuber, and to visually put these 11 states into a UK context, I've put together a graphic. Have you ever seen those videos that compare the size of the Earth to the size of the Sun, and then the Sun to the next biggest star, and the next biggest star to the next biggest star, and so on? Well, I thought it would be fun to do the same thing with the UK, and its 11 American overlords. So here are 11 US states with a total area, that's land and water, that's larger than the UK.
Wow.
Michigan. John's actually from Michigan, isn't he?
Yes.
Mexico. California. Texas.
Alaska.
Ah, yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. Huge.
That looks ginormous there.
Now, if this were a game of top trumps, the United States would be winning by a country mile.
Country mile.
Sorry. So before we continue, I am going to throw in a fun fact that allows the UK a moment of glory. The most number of US states that you could collectively fit into the entire UK is 10. Now, admittedly, it is the smallest 10, and those are West Virginia, Maryland, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Hawaii, Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island. But one thing that you might notice about all of those, with the exception of Hawaii, is that they are east of the Mississippi River. But once you go west, things become so big that your eyes fall off. And something that really seems to get bigger out west are counties. You may remember last year I did a video on the differences between British and American counties, and one of those differences was size. For context, I want you to keep in mind that the largest county in
Yorkshire. Oh.
the UK is North Yorkshire. This clocks in at roughly 3,341 square miles. So it is itself more than half the size of Northern Ireland. Well, at this point in the video, it won't surprise you to hear that the United States has well over 100 counties larger than that.
Wow.
The vast majority of them are out west. Now, if we allow for county equivalents like boroughs and census areas, Alaska has 2 county equivalents that are not just larger than North Yorkshire, but the entire United Kingdom. Alaska, you are massive and you need to be stopped. And you might say, well, Alaska's almost too massive, so this is just cheating. And it is true, Alaska is like the Galactus of American states. We should start calling it Galaska. But even if you drop down into the lower 48 contiguous states, there are some counties that are so big that they make certain countries look like quaint villages. Take, for example, the largest in the lower 48, San Bernardino County in California. At over 20,000 square miles, it's approximately 4 times the size of Northern Ireland and more than twice the size of Wales. And it's not alone. San Bernardino County is one of 10 counties with a square mile area of 5 digits. Now, in both Britain and America, within your average county, you'll probably find a city or two, and it'll be of no surprise to you whatsoever that America's largest cities are larger than the UK's largest cities.
City's larger than Suffolk.
In the UK, the largest city by total area is comfortably London. In fact, at 671 square miles, it is the 3rd largest in Europe. Now, it's important to remember that that's before we take into account the wider metropolitan area. And indeed, before we do that, there are several cities in the United States that are considerably larger than 671 square miles.
He had a Mandalorian top on then. Just for all you Star Wars fans out there.
We got the Alandalorian.
Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly, none of these go by the name of New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles, though this changes somewhat when we do account for each city's metropolitan area. But again, before we do that, I've said do twice.
Do.
The largest 4 places in America that you could reasonably define as a city are all located in Alaska. Anchorage, Juneau, Wrangell, and Sitka all measure well into the thousands of square miles. Now again, it's super Alaska, everything is huge. So instead, let's take a look at the opposite end of the country down in Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida is surprisingly massive, owing partly to the fact that it consolidated with Duval County in 1968. Nonetheless, when you add up its water and land area, Jacksonville is the largest city in the lower 48. And at 874 square miles is larger than not just London, but half of the English counties.
Wow.
Now, if you take into account the metropolitan areas of both Jacksonville and London, Jacksonville marginally comes out on top. And that's despite the fact, yes, I changed my shirt, and that's despite the fact that Jacksonville is significantly down the pecking order when it comes to America's largest metropolitan areas. In terms of square mileage, there are dozens across the country that outmatch it, but none more so than the San Bernardino metropolitan area. otherwise known as the Inland Empire. The Riverside San Bernardino, Ontario metropolitan area covers more than 27,000 square miles, almost the total area of Scotland.
Guys, if you did enjoy that video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel as we delve into all things USA. What do you think of that? That was...
Well, I knew obviously America was big, but putting it into perspective on the scale with UK places, it's just like, wow, we are a
pathetic.
tiny village.
Yeah, it is. Again, quick shout out to the legend John Helwig. Thank you so much for recommending this. Guys, if you would like to reach out to us, jump onto our website, www.mrhandfriends.com, and there you'll be able to send us direct messages.
Now all that leaves us to say is...
Take care.
God bless.
See you on the next video.